Welcome back, adventurers.
Hello, you guys.
So today's adventure has brought us all the way out here in the middle of nowhere in Milledgeville, Georgia.
So come along with us and let's visit this abandoned city here in Milledgeville. It's a video you definitely don't want to miss.
Make sure you stick around to the end. It's
So you're ready?
eerily interesting.
Ooh, I wonder why. You ready?
Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, so now we're actually coming up to the actual Central State Hospital.
Yes, and just to give you guys a little bit more information about it, this state hospital, obviously, as you will see, it's in the state of neglect and decay. Um, it comprised the largest mental health facility the world had ever seen, with more than 200 buildings on 2,000 acres. Now, it opened back in 1842, so imagine that. This is how old this building is, believe it or not, and it's still around. Now, it was known as the Georgia State Lunatic, Idiot, and Epileptic Asylum. And the hospital's story was much like other mental health institutions of its time, as you may imagine. And at first, some of the treatments that were given were effective and humane. However, that changed throughout the years. And from back in the day, the patients, one of the doctors actually banned chain and rope restraints, and the patients took part in their pretty much running the asylum and tending the land and the facilities alongside the staff. However, by the 1960s, the population, the hospital's population, had swelled up to 12,000, which that
Wow,
sounds like a lot, right?
that's crazy.
Way over the maximum capacity for that time.
I'm sure they were understaffed.
I was just about to mention that it was badly understaffed, as a matter of fact, with a doctor patient ratio of 1 to 100.
What?
So, how is that even, it makes you think, like, how is that even possible?
There's no way.
No. And obviously, because of that, under those conditions, the quality of the treatments that the patients were receiving declined rapidly, and the asylum became notorious for its mistreatment of those committed here. Now,
Wow.
there were some rumors that children were confined to cages, adults living in straitjackets, and forced shock therapy with electricity, insulin, and ice bath. So that
Wow.
sounds uh, quite harsh.
That sounds definitely
Like, it makes you
inhumane.
really, really think, yeah, like, why would they make people go through that? Um,
Wow.
in 1959, an expose revealed that none of the 48 doctors patrolling the wards were actually psychiatrists. That sounds unbelievable to me.
Wow.
And this is a kind of like a funny, not so funny fact, but mothers across the South threatened to send their misbehaving children to Milledgeville.
Oh, wow. So you misbehaving? I'm gonna send you to
Yeah, let me
Milledgeville.
let me send you to the asylum, and perhaps they will get your act together. So that sounds
Horrible.
really crazy.
That's like a
So
nightmare.
now this Central State Hospital began closing the wave of pretty much closing its doors during the 60s and 70s, but it wasn't until 2010 that it shut its doors for good, and the building have sat empty and abandoned ever since, just like you're looking at it right now.
That's crazy that they were open for so long and so many horrific things happened here, and they actually let those humans live in such conditions and mistreatment. That's so sad.
And also, so you guys know, there's which is this is really interesting as well. The hospital buildings themselves, as well as there's a cemetery around here of roughly 25,000 unmarked graves.
Wow.
And around 2,000 of those somber markers in the nearby Cedar Lane Cemetery memorialize this unknown dead. So there's quite
Wow.
a lot of people, obviously, around here that are currently in unmarked graves. So I don't know about you
That's
guys, but it made me
crazy.
think of American Horror Story. If you're a fan of the
Yeah.
show, I just picture this being a part of that actual show.
As we keep going down, you guys are going to see the state the hospital is in. Um, I mean, obviously, it's unkept.
Cool.
Um, but it's really sad because it's such a beautiful building, the architecture. They don't make places like this anymore. Um, and it's sad that we lose it to time. But in all of its horrific history, there's still some beauty in it. And I mean, those tops right there, sorry, those tops up there with those urns, it looks like urns. It's so beautiful. And again, you don't see that in modern architecture anymore. It's just so unique and different and of its period, of its time. And it's really sad. It's really sad for multiple reasons because of what happened here naturally and the state in which
It,
these buildings are now in.
and you can see the sign upcoming where it says unsafe building and
Yes.
grounds.
So definitely, if you do decide to come here, be very mindful that none of this is upkept. so it can be dangerous. And
Anything,
again,
anything can happen.
anything can happen. And again, the area is monitored by security.
Yeah, we don't see
So,
cameras, but there's that security guard, I guess, truck passing by,
right. And just making sure that people are being
behaving.
respectful of the surroundings. And here we're coming up to, I think this is a house coming up.
It looks like a house. We
We'll
don't know,
see.
obviously, if
We don't
it's,
know. It's first time here, so but we don't
or
know if that's a house or
it could
another
be a
building.
business.
Let's see.
It's probably a business.
Let's see. There's a
And as
sign coming up.
and as you can see, it's fenced around it. So,
The whole area is fenced in, so you can see this is also another angle. You
and from
guys
this angle,
can
you can see
see
the tower.
how large this building is as well, and it's hard to believe that 12,000 patients were housed in this building. That's insane. No
And
pun intended.
God only knows what stories this building has. If you could only speak.
I'm sure it's a lot of unhappy stories.
All right, you guys. So this is the back of the building, as you can see. So it's still fenced in, and just so you can see this area when I'm passing by, it's really secluded, um, but it's it just shows you a little bit more of the area, and there's stuff here, so you just be mindful. But I wanted to show you the area behind the actual building, and it makes you wonder, like, what's straight ahead. Oops, if I can point, like, what it's straight ahead. I'm just curious.